And welcome everybody. This is humancolony.org, and today we have a very special guest. Many have been waiting for him, as do I. And before we start off, we have just teeny tiny bits of announcement, and I'm gonna give that to Sabrina, and then we're gonna introduce our guest.
Welcome everyone. Welcome Rob, and everyone that's with Jim also. I want to say hello to them. I don't know how many people he has there today. And I wanted to let everybody know not to forget the Close Encounters of the Eighth Kind on June 20th with Jim, Rob, and Krista. And Jim will also be in his show on Wednesday, so please call, listen, all of the above. Thank you. And I think that was it for announcements. I don't think there's anything else for now, but I let Jim introduce now. Jim?
Good morning, everybody. Before I do my introduction, I'm going to let you know who's in the room here. We have Barbara, Will, Francine, Helga, Mark, Sandy, and Raymond. So we have quite a few people here at the house for this occasion. And thank you all for coming. And right now I'd like to introduce our special guest, Rob Gauthier, channeler of Treb Bor Yit NE. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about this gentleman. He's been a friend of mine for quite a while now. He's been very, very helpful to me. As you know out there that I'm not a technical person, and you know that I don't know much about things online, but Rob has really helped me to become a little bit more aligned with how to do things online. He's been a very good friend, very patient with me, very loving, him and Kalina both. So with no further ado, I want to introduce you to a great channeler, a great person of love and compassion and goodness, and that would be Rob Gauthier. Thank you, Rob, for being here today. We are honored with your presence, and thanks a lot.
Well, thank you, Jim, and thank you all who helped facilitate this. It's a wonderful, wonderful group, a lot of wonderful information, a lot of wonderful people here today. I just want to start out real quick by giving a quick introduction to myself and who I am. For those of you who don't know, my name's Rob Gauthier. I am a channeler, and I've been channeling for over 5 years now. I've been connected to the main entity or being who I've connected to for 7 years. Although I didn't channel Treb originally, I had met him through my couple years before that of learning deep meditation. So I'm going to take you through a really quick story of how I got started real quick. I came out of a really deep and dark depression, a real rough place in my life, and for a couple of years before that, I just had been so low and so out of it. And when I started coming out of this depression, I started feeling different. I started noticing things I didn't notice. I started feeling emotional energies that I hadn't felt since I was a kid: love, compassion, empathy, connection to other beings. You know, like I remember the first thing I usually use to describe my sensations is I would see a tree and I would fall in love with it. I would see my animals or animal going through the forest where I lived, and I just loved it. It was instantly an emotion of connection and love, and I hadn't felt that for so long. And the amounts of love I felt were only towards certain individuals, my son, my family, and anything else I could really care less about until that point. So during this awakening of these emotions and these sensations, I started connecting to ideals about what spirituality was. I was raised as a Christian from the time I can remember all the way until my early to mid-teen years. because my parents were so religious, I kind of backed away from the church at that age. 13 was a real rebellious time in my life. I was kind of a little bit of a hoodlum, and I would get in a lot of trouble and do a lot of crazy stuff. And at that point, I disconnected completely from religion, spirituality. The older I got, the more I had seen the legitimacy of science. Science was something that I loved. I counted in science for all of my understandings, and I separated from God. I thought maybe there was a God, but not the same kind of God I was taught. Maybe there wasn't a God, and I just pushed away the ideas completely. Science was my new religion. Through my reconnection, I started sensing that there was more to this world. You know, when you look at science itself, when you look at how things and creatures and beings evolve, how the earth itself evolved, plant life, everything. It was such an amazing thing that I could see how science would have its hand in it, but I could not see the larger picture of the integration of consciousness into all of these things. So I started learning about meditation. I went to this one thing, because as a child I always was interested in ghosts. And the thing about ghosts was, if what they told me at church was real, there was no such thing as ghosts. There was only spirits who had went to heaven, hell, purgatory, waiting places, so on and so on. So these experiences that all these people were having with people that they said had passed on or who had died, or people who, or just entities that came through non-physically, it really interested me. And I said, maybe there's something there that can help me understand the bigger picture. I started going to a church that was called a spiritualist church, or a spiritualism church, and this church was basically had Christian overtones and a lot of understanding about afterlife. They're saying that if we can learn to meditate and connect to these beings and people who have passed, we can therefore understand what the afterlife is and prove the existence of God. So they had a kind of an amalgamation of science, spirituality, and meditation. So those were all the things I was looking for. I went to the church. The first time I went, I connected to these people. None of these people knew my personal life. They only knew me through the email and the Yahoo group that I was in. And I went in front of the main medium for the church, and he gave me a reading, and it was dead on. It was perfect. There was nothing that he said that wasn't right. And the things that I thought might not be right were things that I was able to reinforce after talking to my father, who was huge into family trees and things. Like, they had said something about several generations back, and this woman who was Native American. And when I went back to my dad, the things that they had said about this lady had actually occurred down the line in our history of the family. So right there, everything they said about that, everything they said about my son, who has severe handicaps, he's disabled, has cerebral palsy, and all these things that they had no way to know, they knew. And I was flabbergasted. I was amazed. I was just put back in my seat and said, there is something to this. And I told the guy who I'd met through the Yahoo group about how great of an experience it was, and how I wish that I had the ability that their main medium did. And he said, everyone has that ability. If you learn to meditate, if you learn to connect to yourself, you can find all these answers. I was sold. I was instantly taken back and told this person that I wanted to be a part of something like that. I wanted to be a part of something bigger. I wanted to know what they knew. So I continued going there. I started learning meditation. I started learning all of these things that this church would teach. And I stayed there for a while, and I learned. And I started to be able to get little signs. And the worst part about my integration, the hardest hump to get over, was the self-trust. With intuition, we all receive everything all the time in different pieces and different parts, but it's the acceptance of what we're receiving that truly connects us or not. So in that sense, I was trying to figure out if what I was getting was imagination, if what I was getting was actual message from spirit, or what the case, and how to discern. And what my person who taught me, my dear friend Al, told me, he said, it doesn't matter if what you're getting is imagination or spirit, because eventually you are going to get what's right. And when you stop trying to level your discernment through there, you'll start bringing in better information and more valid information. So it took a while, but I did what he said, and I continued, and I moved through. And what happened at that point is I was able to get more, and I received more, and it felt good. But I kept working, and all of a sudden my meditation plateaued. There was no growth in my meditation for months, and it was a little bit frustrating. It was upsetting. And at that time, people in the church I had seen that there was a devised line in between two groups at the church. And in my idea, the concept of religion itself wasn't that great, but when I seen this church who could not agree or figure out a consensus to whether reincarnation was real or was just something that was derived by people who had weird experiences, this main source of information, this main ideal, split the church in two. Well, at that point, I had already reconsidered what reincarnation meant and what fundamentals it received and how big of a part it had to play in existence. I truly was invested, and because of my investment in that belief, I was persecuted by some of the members of the church. There was always this internal struggle that happened at that point during the whole communication about that idea there. So that is when I started pushing away the church again. And the more I got into different meditations, the more I realized the separation that lied in between religion and spirituality. So what I did is I started going forward in my own experience and found online a binaural beat, which is a meditation that uses sound waves to put your mind into a certain state. Now, there's the alpha state, beta state, theta, and delta states. And when you get to the delta and theta states, your mind is very deep. It's very in trance-like kind of chemistry or wave pattern of the brain. And when I would go to that, basically when you're getting a theta state, you are achieving a deep sense of meditation, almost like the monks do. The Buddhist monks, the Tibetan monks that live in the mountains and can dress with a sheet of clothing and stay in negative degree temperatures. Those people, I was achieving something similar without going real deep, without learning years and years and years of meditation. So I found my shortcut, and it worked for me. So I kept doing it, and I kept growing in my meditation. And then I found a certain binaural beat called the Gateway Experience through HemiSync, and it's prohibitively expensive. If you want to buy the whole thing, it's like $800. So I was really frustrated, but I found the money, I manifested, and I got my hands onto that specific meditation. It comes in, I believe it's 6 or 7 parts, and each wave has 5 points, and you have to build your way up through the meditation. It took me about 5 months to finish the whole thing, and after I was finished, my meditation was on a new level. And I stuck with that, and I kept it, and I was getting more and more and more information, more perception. One day, I had a very difficult experience. I had watched a video on YouTube that was something to do with the Hubble Deep Field 3D setup that they had. And what this video was is going outside of the galaxy into a picture that the Hubble telescope had taken, and it was a 3D model of all of the galaxies that were out there. Now, they took a piece of our sky, our night sky, that was less than a dime size, and they seen millions of galaxies. And this is a part of the sky that with all telescopes before, no one knew that there was anything there. It was in a place called the Boötes Void, which was completely thought to be voided of any galaxies or anything. And they found millions of galaxies in that spot. And this video zoomed in to the 3D model, and I felt a very heavy energy in my heart. Now, it wasn't that I wasn't excited to see that, it wasn't that I was blown away, but something in me felt empty. And it felt like I had lived on this planet, and I was some kind of prisoner in this planet. Although it be a beautiful prison, although it be a beautiful area, I just felt an emptiness, like I should be able to do more than just this. I should be amongst all of those galaxies, the stars, everything that's out here. And on that night, I was so messed up. I cried for 30 minutes. I was bawling like a child. My eyes were red. I was even doing the whole like little kids do when they get in trouble. And I did that, and finally I came and I said, I need to neutralize myself. I need to revitalize my energy. And I went into a meditation. And the way that this hemisync worked is there's 21 steps into deepening your consciousness, and after the 21st step, I went deeper. I decided I'm going past this, and I'm going to do it tonight. And in that evening, in that very moment, after surpassing for the first time the 21st state of the Gateway experience, I met Treb. And I met Treb in an astral projected state. I talked to him, and it was very scary at first. It's like I perceive that I'm in the ship, and it's like no one's in there but me, and I'm looking around at all this silver, and I'm looking around, and there's this thing it's not a language I'm familiar with. It's about this big, and the more I looked at it, the more it made sense to me, and finally I understood. It said something almost like a galactic doctor's waiting office. It said, "Please wait here, someone will be with you," or something to the effect of that. And I thought, how particular that the deepest meditation I ever had puts me in some future waiting room, because that's how I thought of it. So I sit there, and all of a sudden, through the door, this gigantic blue-green reptilian with these huge, huge purple eyes and these very sharp-looking teeth, and my heart just froze. It felt like I was having a panic attack instantly, and within just a couple seconds, all the panic was washed away. It felt like this sense of love and connection that was more profound than anything I had experienced before. Now, at that time, I had reconnected from the deepest depression I had ever knew possible to mankind, and all of a sudden, I feel this great sense of love that was more than the love of when I first started connecting, and I knew that there was something important. I talked, I asked, "Who are you? What am I doing here?" And what Treb told me is that I am connected to you. We are very important to one another, and in this connection, you will find out that most of the things that you believe that you understand, you will be able to see a new version of that. You'll be able to learn the true nature of how things work, the true nature of the universe, the true nature of yourself, more importantly. And that was it. And now you have to understand, meditation was an addiction to me at this time. I would literally be in a meditative state 3 times a day, at very least, sometimes more. And when I wasn't meditating, I was using a closed eye technique where I basically just shut my eyes, shut out the world, and experienced it through sound vibration. And this is something I taught myself how to do, but sharply intensified my intuition. Just sitting around, like if we're talking now, my eyes are closed, and then feeling energy around me. It's very good technique if you're getting into meditation and want to pick up your intuitiveness. That is a technique I always try to share with people. Just by doing that in the meditation, I had sharpened myself completely. But up until this point, I was meditating 3 times a day. That kind of shook me so hard and so deeply, I quit meditating for over 3 days. I just stopped. I was like, that was such an odd and such a deep and profound experience. I don't know if I'm ready for it. So the 3rd day, the curiosity killed me. I was like, I need to know more about what's happening. And I went into meditative state. And I met him again, and I met him again, and we kept talking. And the 3rd or 4th time that I spoke to him, I said, how do I know that you are real? How do I know you're not just imagination in my brain? And he told me that that's not really important, but if I had to prove it to myself to move forward, to talk to one of my friends, Scott. And Scott's a dear childhood friend. We went through our religious journey together as children. We went through our science journey together. He was always big into afterlife and UFOs, so he told me about this documentary. And Treb said, talk to him, but do not tell him about me. Just talk to him as if you'd normally. He gives this video where they start talking about UFOs, and for about 7 or 8 minutes out of the whole hour-and-a-half video, they started talking about channeling. And in that channeling, they started talking about the law of one channeling. And they talked about that for, if it was only 7 minutes of channeling, they talked about that for 6 minutes, 45 seconds. And for 15 seconds, they said, this channel material is second only to the Seth material by Jane Roberts in the 1960s. At that point, that little sentence that they said was way more important to me than all the stuff that they talked about, the law of one and the raw material. So immediately I look it up. I listen to this hour and, well, almost 2-hour excerpt of Seth Speaks the Eternal Validity of the Soul from Jane Roberts, because I don't like reading, I'd rather hear it. And I listened to that hour-and-a-half excerpt, and everything that was being said was something that Treb was telling me when he was trying to explain to me the nature of reality, almost word for word, but they just used different verbiage. So it was the same principle, just said in a different way. Then I knew that Treb was real. But I just got done with all this disconnected part in my life, so it was hard for me just to give up myself and trust anything. So I kept the relationship with Treb, and the more I connected to him, the more I trusted him, the more I felt him, the more we experienced each other. And finally, 2 years after our journey started, mine and his together, I said, I have seen the Jane Roberts channeling, because I did a lot of investigation of channeling after I met Treb, and I said, I want to help you bring forward this energy into our existence and share with people, because the messages that Treb was teaching me and sharing with me was so important, I had to be a part of it. And during that time, he said that it was possible, and we worked on techniques and we started channeling. That was back in 2010, and ever since then we've been sharing the material. Now, since then, I have grown in my channeling a lot. The first 2 years of my original channeling was very rough. It was just the basic version of a connection that I could get with them. And then I started growing. I started growing in myself. 2012 came and went. My connection got better and better. And about a year ago or so, I think Aridif, which is another entity who was a lot to Treb like Treb is to me. So it's like Treb's guide or Treb's teacher. And Aridif taught Treb a lot of things, and they connect in an astral connection together. And Aridif had brought forth his own self one time into a material that we had done. When we were doing a book, me and this guy, Jefferson Viscardi, he contacted me and asked me to do a book. So we did a bunch of channel sessions, and he wrote it down as a book. Jefferson asked Treb, get 3 messages from other races for Earth, and we will put that into the book. And one of the 3 was Aridif. Now, Treb had talked to me about Aridif many times before, but it wasn't the same name. He always referred to him as Deneb Cygnus, which Cygnus is a constellation. It's the swan. So he always called him Deneb Cygnus, and I knew Deneb was in Cygnus. It's a name of a star that's in the constellation Cygnus. So I just thought maybe that's where the guy lives, which was correct. But afterwards, he brings forward this name Aridif in the book. And once he brought forward that name Aridif, that really connected to me. In my opinion, it was the most profound and deep information out of the 400-plus pages in the book. The 23 pages that Aridif was on was the most profound and the most deep and the most comprehensive understanding of how our universe works. And up until then, I had never heard anything profound as that. I had never heard anything quite as exciting as that, and I allowed that information to come through. So after my connection with Aridif, I was able to connect more to him, and in the last year, I was able to experience more of a connection with Aridif. Aridif had stepped forward one time and explained during the middle of a radio show, explained that Kalina, which is my partner, my dear lovely partner who helps me with all of the work I do, told her during her radio show, I am here to work with you guys full time now. Before that, I had only talked to Aridif maybe 4 or 5 times from the book, when we were trying to receive the more deep, profound information, but it always took a long time to connect to him. I would have to tell Treb, and then a couple months later, hey, Aridif's ready, so-and-so. So now it's like he breaks a part of himself off of himself to give to us permanently for that information. And since I've started channeling Aridif, my connection's even been more profound, and the channeling comes through even more. And after connecting to Aridif more deeply, I was able to start connecting to more entities. Now, I've always connected to people's spirit guides or entities in the Oversoul who come through during channeled private sessions for people, but this is different. These are entities I've been connecting to my own self without using Treb as like the operator or the middleman, and I'm able to bring forward. And one of these groups that I've connected to are called the Nihal. And the Nihal are a future human race. They are really short in stature, like 3 foot or something, future human group that turns out to be one of our probabilities as we move forward in the future. Another note of importance about the Nihal is that that group themselves are the group who genetically altered a second density being or an animal being that was a reptilian in Treb's system and created Treb's race. And that's why I was able to connect with them. So they have an understanding of Treb's race's history. They also have an understanding of human history. And after that, I also was connecting to several different entities. And just recently, and for some reason I was very resistant to this at first, but this entity came forward and represented itself as Metatron. And Metatron, for those of you who might not heard that term, is an archangel consciousness. Now, I don't, because of my religious background, I didn't want, every time I heard archangel or someone channel an archangel, it just felt very weird to me. I didn't necessarily like that idea. And Metatron, out of all of them, he's the one who has probably the most negative connotations when you look him up. A lot of people say really rough stuff about Metatron out of all the archangels. And when I heard that I was connected to this, and when I was told that I would be connecting to this entity, I was almost very resistant and said no. But I found out the importance of that, and since then I've channeled them twice, and it's been an amazing experience. So altogether, I'm trying to share this experience with you because it's not just important to know about my journey, but it's important to know that no matter who you are, if channeling is something that you're interested in, it's achievable. It's something that anyone can do. And like I said, I came from this place of depression, obscurity, a person who had no real sense of job, no real sense of community, no real sense of relationships besides my local family. And I came and shared this energy, and I reconnected to myself, and I was able to tap into something that in my heart and view is profound and deep and meaningful and helpful in our day-to-day lives. This is something that all of us are able to do. The channeling thing is not exclusive to me and Jim. It's not exclusive to Chris. It's not exclusive to just people who are really good psychics. Channeling is available for all. Everyone can learn how to channel. For me, my road to channeling was an excitement to see something bigger, was an excitement to understand the nature of reality and God. And through that, with no I never ever expected to connect to extraterrestrials. I never expected to connect to anything. All I wanted to do was see what the other side was about, to find information, and I had no expectations. And with that lack of expectations, with an excitement and with me acting on that excitement, I manifested that reality. And all of you can do that too. That is my story in a nutshell, and I'm happy to answer anybody's questions who have any questions that they want.
Wow, thank you, Robert. That was a wonderful story.
Thank you.
Yeah, really interesting. So this is how we're gonna do it. This first part we're gonna talk to Rob, and now all of you who are here get to ask some, brief questions. And for the second part of this whole event, Rob is gonna bring someone through, and then the people who are here ask one question and perhaps maybe a follow-up question or something, and then give space, leave and give space so others can come in. And I would also like to mention that for you who are watching live, first of all, hello to all of you. And if you click on the Q&A button, we have someone who is watching that, so if you want, you can type in a question there. Go ahead, everybody. So I could start to ask a question. So you met him first in astral projection.
Yes.
That was how it started. And you said about 2 years?
Yeah, for about 2 years. And an interesting note, not a lot of people are really aware of this, but when I channel right now, like when I'm going to channel here in just a few minutes, when I get ready to bring forward I'll probably bring forward Aridif, but when I channel, I do the same thing. I am not here with you guys. I'm not listening to the questions. I'm not understanding what's going on, but my consciousness will be hanging out with Treb. And I was just filmed for this documentary when we did an event in Asheville, and the guy who filmed it, Ruben Langdon, which is a great guy, he does the show called Interview with ED, which is Extra Dimensionals, and he said, oh, basically when you're gone, you're hanging out with Treb, right? And I said, yeah, what do you guys talk about? I said, what do all friends talk about? We talk about what our day's been like, what's going on in our life, hardships, fun, all that stuff, and I talk to him, and he shares with me. And he goes, so basically you're gone fishing with Treb. And I said, yeah, that's a good term. So now I call it Gone Fishing with Treb. And that's where I am every time I channel. So that astral projected state is always with me. It's a big part of me. And it's actually fun to do sessions because while everyone here is having fun, me and Treb will have some fun.
So can you tell me some place you go to, some adventure? Does he take you to his planet and his stars?
Yes, I have been everywhere. I've been everywhere around this planet and its home. Their planet's big. It's almost twice the size of ours. They have a beautiful purple sky. They have 3 different moons, and when you're there, it's really foresty and has a lot of like green water lakes. And in that planet, I've been everywhere on that planet. I've also been to other planets. Now, that's not the only experience I get when I channel. That's the majority. Like if I channel 20 times, out of that 20, probably 16 is where I would be with Treb. And maybe 3 of them is when Treb wants to show me something. And when he shows me something, then sometimes it's like one of those things where he just shows me a planet or a being or an entity or a timeline or an experience, and he always shows me something that I need for later reference points. For instance, if someone asked me a question personally when I'm in my regular mindset now about something that I didn't know about, well, I'd look back 2 weeks and it's something that Treb showed me, or just something I needed for my understanding. Now, if that's out of 20 channelings, that would happen maybe 3 of the 20. And then the very last time, once in a while, it's like I'm in a real deep meditative state and I actually observe the channeling session. Now, that doesn't happen very frequently, and in fact, it's a lot less than 1 out of 20 times, probably like 1 out of every 200. But that's just kind of an example of the experiences I get when I meditate and when I start channeling.
I have a question. Do you sometimes just start channeling when you... not when you expect it to happen? For me, I just go join a hangout with one person and then I just start channeling and I was not expecting it.
I have not done that very much, but there have been a few times, and usually during those times when I kind of zone into that channel state is either when I'm oming, when I'm having a huge heart-centered experience, or when an intent to find an answer that I believe that I can't find in my own self happens. But it very rarely happens. My connection is very intent-oriented. Like when we go to channeling, you'll see me cut the camera off, cut the microphone off for like 5 or 6 minutes and just breathe and listen to a song in my headphones and just neutralize my energy completely. And I have to do that every time, and then I have to go through a process of breathing and oming. So it's very intentional, and very seldomly do I slip into that. But I do have this state that's in between. Now, ever since I built my connection with Treb, especially after 2012, what happens is there's like an amalgamative effect, and this is like somewhere in between conscious channeling and semi-trance channeling. And what happens is when I get really excited and really open, like I am now, I am able to hear information from Treb Bor Yit directly. Like right now, I can get messages from Treb Bor Yit. But when that happens, it's like a halfway point. There's part me, part Treb, part Aridif, and then all the information runs consecutively. It's like an amalgamation of all three of us. But most of the time, when I'm doing that, it's like a normal everyday situation, and it doesn't feel like I'm shifting outside of myself. It's become so normal to me now to have them coming in and out. Actually, there's something that I've never really shared this publicly on a mass level, but certain energies, when I get real excited, Treb pulls really forward in my consciousness, and then you can hear a sound that sounds kind of like almost like between a growling and a kitten purr. It's a really weird sound, and it's very noticeable, and he's been doing that more so in channeled state too. And when Aridif comes through, there's like a little sound that comes through. So when I'm excited and I'm talking, I'll be like, and that energy right there is Aridif pulling forward into my consciousness. Kalina sees it in my eyes. She can tell if it's Treb or Aridif just by looking in my eyes when I'm really into that zone. But for me, my belief system says if I'm going to channel them, I shouldn't do it consciously because I don't want my own self getting in the way of that information.
Hello, Rob.
Hello.
Yeah, this is Noha from Arabia.
Hey.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Thank you. My question is regarding Treb. Treb believes that all the entities that we've spoken to so far, they're telling us they're so excited about our planet Earth and want to ascend it by any means. They're helping us all the time, and they're watching us every minute. So I believe Treb has been, because they have been incarnated here as humans before. So is Treb just the same? He has been human before. What was he in the previous incarnation?
In his lineage, their origin comes from the Nihal, which comes from humans, so in a sense, yes. But the way that Treb has taught me about the evolution of a soul and the evolution of consciousness and the evolution of our growth in our incarnation cycles, they have a probability of being human. In all reality, Treb himself, I am his probable past life. So if I were to follow a certain line of energy, I would be Treb several lives later. And Treb looks back at me and says, I'm him several lives behind. So Treb has incarnated in humans, but they also, because of their unique lineage, they experience third density twice. Once as their human ancestors, and once as the Yit collective in their third density state. But now their incarnation cycle is set more towards the Yit collective, so their focus is their Yit incarnations. Yes, he's connecting to me as a human, and yes, we have that energy, so he is looking at his human lineage. But when you ask him about something about his third density self, he'll talk to you about his third density Yit self, because that's the energy that he's focused in on now in this life. Yes, they're with humans. Yes, they're connecting with humans. Yes, they don't look over as in to take care of or protect or do the work for us type thing, but they're always there if we need them.
Do you know that Nihal is a name in Arabic for feminine girls?
Nihal is really?
Yeah, it's a nice name. I love the name, and I'm thinking to name my daughter in the future Nihal, which is a nice name.
Really, that is a beautiful. I did not. I knew that it had an Arabic background or a name, but I also heard Aridif did.
No.
No?
Bashar, yes. Bashar, yes. Bashar means the telling good. I'm telling good news. The good news teller. You know.
Oh,
Bashar.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So the good message, huh?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Beautiful.
The last question, everybody knows in the human colony that I have fear from reptilians. And I'm trying to face it. I'm trying to overcome it. Okay, we're speaking to Grendel, all the beautiful entities we have, but they're reptilian good friends of ours. But still, it's still there because I knew that I had a past life, and it was a very vicious one with them. So this is why when I see a reptilian, I go berserk. I had to have to cover the image. Like I used to watch Treb long time, but I used to cover when the image comes on the screen. I used to cover the face, you know. So and I love Treb, but he's so sweet and he's so kind and everything. But can do something if you can to pull this phobia that I've got, if you can.
Yeah, there's the only thing I can give you is that there is something inside yourself that you're afraid of, because all of us have the genetics of reptilians. We are built from 7 races, and out of those 7, 5 are 50% hybrids, and 3 out of the 12 races that are actually built and taken to connect to the DNA of the human collective are reptilians. We have the ancient reptilians, the earth reptilians, and one other type of reptilians I'm not sure about. But we all have at least 3/12 of us, or 1/4, a reptilian. So in that sense, it's something in you that you're afraid of. It's something in yourself. And this is something that Treb and Aridif have showed me. Each one of us who go through a problem in life, it's only a projection of something that's inside of us. So when you're seeing a dispute with a family member about money, that is not your family member being rude or arrogant to you or being mean. It's something inside of you that is worried about that exact same idea, and it's being presented in front of you as a problem with your family. Treb and Aridif have always talked about creating your own reality from the ground up, that every experience you have, you create. And if that's the case, this fear of reptilian energy is not just about your past life and connecting. There's a fear inside of yourself that maybe you don't want to explore some type of reptilian energy. Now, the reptilian energy that we have is a very prideful energy. It's a very single energy. It's a very disconnected energy, and not disconnected in a bad way. But I mean, it's a me energy. It's a me and myself energy, me and my family energy, not a part of all it is, or a part of oneness energy. You might have an issue inside of yourself that's looking at your reptilian energy, and your reptilian energy is your fierceness and your anger and your lust and your disconnection, and something inside of you is fearful of going into that energy, and maybe that's where that occurs. So try to look at that first before you look at the reptilian idea, and maybe that'll just kind of smooth over. Hope it helps.
Hi, Rob. How would you recommend, like, do you have an exercise to look at that? Like,
well, there's a lot of exercises that I've learned that can help align you. Now, for a very specific one, I think Aridif would be a better one to ask about that. But when you're looking at a general exercise, there's a green breathing technique, and this is one of the techniques I was taught by the HemiSync Foundation, the one who did the Gateway experience, is closing your eyes and breathing in your nose real deep. And Aridif calls it a breathing circuit because you're always breathing, and it becomes second nature. So in your nose, fill up your stomach, then your lungs, and then and always use that breathing circle. So and you continue that, and start picturing the color green. And when you picture that color, it becomes less of a thought or less of a visualization and more of a feeling. Once you get that picture green, or that feeling or color of green, then when you're breathing in, you hold your breath just for 1 second. You don't have to hold it for a long time. It's not really healthy to hold energy, but 1 second, and then when you breathe out, you're blowing out like a birthday cake candle. You're just, and you do it very deep and very long. So a realistic one would look a lot like this. And it would take you that long to blow out. And what this does is it takes away all of the non-neutral energy. It takes any excited, anxious, or nervous energy. And when you do that long enough, you'll start feeling a tickle on the bottom of your feet, or like a tingling sensation. What that is your body is getting rid of that anxious, negative, worried, imbalanced energy. Once you get to that state where you feel all that energy's out of you, think about what part of me that I feel is similar to reptilian that I'm afraid to express. What type of energy, let's say you're afraid of the insectoids. What energy are the insectoids, and what of that energy am I not expressing or afraid to express? When we see a negative perception to reptilians, we're judging that part of ourselves that can get angry, that can get violent, that can get sexual, that can get separated from everyone else, and we're judging that part of ourselves. So to reflect on those questions, what do I see reptilians as, and what part of that energy inside of myself am I afraid to express? Those questions will help you find an answer. And it doesn't have to be this great shining light in the back of your head, oh, and you just instantly know the answer and somebody comes down and gives it to you. It can just be an understanding, and it doesn't have to happen in that moment. You can literally reflect on it later in the day and you'll have the answer. So hopefully that helps.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then the other question I wanted to ask was, you said you had been in a depression.
Mm-hmm.
How did you manage to do the jump to help yourself? Like, what steps did you take there?
Well, a lot of it was physical thing, you know? Like I would drink a lot whenever I'd get depressed, or I would just try to get outside of that nature. So the non-allowance of alcohol or chemicals or anything like that into my body, to get away from that helped a chemical change in my body. And after that, just being able to shift my perspective slightly towards a more positive thing. I started the emotional sensation, the feeling, that helped me switch. And it wasn't a gradual change. It wasn't like one day I'm depressed and upset and wanting to kill the world, and then the next moment I wake up with the greatest smile. It was a lengthy journey that lasted a couple months, and each day I would find something new to look at, something new to be excited about. So it doesn't have to happen overnight. The thought of me wanting to get my life better and back on track, that did happen overnight. But it wasn't something that I consciously looked out for. What it was I was so tired of dealing with my life in that negative polarity, I just decided I'm done. And those of you who've been depressed, those of you who've ever drinking a lot or been addicted to drugs or just depressed in general, all understand that there are low points in your life. But for me, to hit the lowest part, I knew that there was nothing below that, so I could only go up. And sometimes I am a Capricorn, I'm a hard-headed person, and I have to learn the most difficult, hard way to learn, and I still do that so much of my life. It was just the understanding there's nothing lower than now. There's nothing below what I've been, what I am, what I've done. Being able to shift that perspective. What's very important too is not to look at your growth as in certain representations, like, you know, people say you're not any good unless you have a job that pays this amount, or you're not any good if you're not living in a house, or you're not good if you don't have, 28 friends. All of those things are not needed. None of that is a point in which you can look at and say, my life is good now. It's all about perception. I know people who are homeless, who live in a shelter or who live on the streets, who are truly happy people, and it's because they in themselves can see the goodness of everything around them. So I guess if you want a short answer on how to find a way out of depression, how to find a way out of disconnection, try to see the good in everything. Even if you have to force it at first, try to see the good in everything. The car accident, the getting your car stolen, someone stealing money from you, all of those things. Try to find out what the good is in it. A lot of people can't do that. I've had something stolen from me, and from a friend who was a 20-year-plus friend, And the one thing that I was able to pull out of that, now I know who my real friends are. And it was that simple. Now I understand he wasn't truly my friend. He was using me. Now I can disconnect a part of my life that I don't need anymore. So the simple things, finding the good in even the worst, that is the first step, and trying to see it in every succession thereafter.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ellie asked, how do you think we can best affect people to change their point of view on aliens, and should we put more effort on the children?
First of all, this, for me, that idea is a personal journey. For me, to make others aware of something is only something that you can do by being excited and sharing. But in the perception that I have learned through Treb and Aridif's channeling, it's not healthy to make other people be aware of something or make someone see. All you can do is suggest your energy. I am excited about this. Here it is. If you like it, good. If you don't, I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to bastardize you. I'm not going to push you away from me. So it's a very fine line, and a lot of people get into that energy and become dogmatic. They are like, I am a Christian, and if you're not, you're a piece of garbage, and I hate you, and you shouldn't be around me. That type of energy is very, very not healthy for your growth. If you are going to share something out of the love for it in your heart, then share it. But to make people more aware, the only way you can do it is by being excited about it and sharing it from your perspective. Understand there are no truths, lies, and there are no rights and wrongs in the way that we experience. Each one of us experience our reality so differently that when you are looking at a car accident, you know, you got 20 people standing around the car accident, and each one of them have seen who's at fault differently. They've seen a different angle of the crash. So each one of them have a different belief of who was wrong, who was right, what was done, what wasn't. But in reality, it's a crash. It's one crash. That's the truth of it. So the truth of us is that there are experiences to be had, and each experience has a valid point. If someone's not going to believe in aliens, that's because they can't, in their experience, their beliefs don't allow them to. And we shouldn't judge people because their beliefs aren't compatible with ours. When we do that, we're actually judging parts of ourselves that don't understand. Like, for me, Archangel, the whole thing was so rough for me to grab onto, but deeper within myself, I know that that's only a judgment I had put on it, and that's why it made it so hard for me to connect to. When we let go of that judgment of other people and the way that they see our truths, the more people will hear our truths because it's not energetically being resisted upon anymore. Once we let go of the resistance, then other people will too. So if you're excited to share that information about ETs, hybrid children, then share it in excitement. And those who push against you are not really others pushing against you. It's you pushing against you. And the more you let go of that, by reflection, the more you'll see it come back in your reality. So just be excited, share, and don't worry what others think or feel. Just by being who you are, just by being excited in that moment, you are literally changing the vibration of people around you. Now, it's a very long topic to get into, but each one of us creating our own reality, we can shift the realities that we're in just by shifting certain vibrational things about us. Beliefs, thoughts, our actions, we shift into reality. So the more happy we are and the more aligned we are and the more we're excited about extraterrestrials and people knowing, then we shift closer to realities where people are already knowing, where people are already accepting and excited. So it's all personal growth. It's all done from within, projecting outward. So you don't change people around you, you change what's in you, and that itself changes people around you. I guess that's the simplest answer to a difficult answer, I guess.
Thank you. Thank you for the answer.
Thank you.
Sharon?
Yeah, I have a question from Roxy, and she asked, Rob, have you continued to work on conscious channeling?
I have played around with the idea. I practice it every day. Me and Kalina will be sitting watching a TV show, and somewhat one of us will have a reflection on something that it means to us. and then the information comes through. And Kalina's really good with checking in on me. Hey, I see Aridif present, what does he think? Hey, I see Treb present, what does he think? And the information comes through. And then the next time I channel, when I'm in trance, where, see, now this is a belief of my own, that I can be more trusted in a trance channel the way the information comes through than not. Then we double check with that, and all of it's good. I mean, all of it comes through perfectly on both realms. So I'm already practicing the trance channeling, or the conscious channeling, but to me the comfort level's more so in the trance. So I am working at it, but I don't think I'll ever need to integrate it. My trance channeling is perfect experience for me, and it comes through perfectly for others. So for me, I don't feel the need to change now. And I'm not saying that'll never change. I'm not saying that that will never be a different motif for me to dip my toes into. But for now, the trance channeling works perfectly. It's perfectly clear in my perception, and that's kind of the area that I'm going for.
All right, Rob, by popular demand, everybody's decided to let go of the questions for now.
Perfect.
To allow you to channel.
All right, before I start my connection process, I'm going to shut my camera mic down, use the restroom, and then I'm just going to need maybe like 5 or 6 minutes to neutralize, and then when I'm done with that, I'll come back on camera, and then I'll start my connection process, if that's all right.
Perfect. Okay.
All right. I'll let you know, too, when I'm coming back. I'll type you a message on the bottom.
Okay.
All right. We'll see you guys in about 5-7 minutes.
See you in a bit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, guys, in the meantime, if Jim wants to tell who's all there at Jim's place, that'd be cool.
Yes.
Is that Sandy? So someone jumped by. Jim, are you there?
Turn on the mic.
Okay.
I'm assuming. I really loved him sharing so much of his story. That was really wonderful. Very thorough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Jim.
Very good. Thanks,
Hello.
Ron. Yes, hey, how you doing?
So who's all at
It was
your
a
place?
wonderful time when Brian was here. Yeah. We have 8 people here today. And
Hey,
Francine's here.
Hi,
Will's
Francine.
here.
It's been a
Barbara's
while.
here.
How are you?
Hey, good.
Good.
I was lucky enough to be here with Brian.
Oh,
I know,
you were?
but you had to take off. You didn't get to stay long.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a busy life. It's a full busy life.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I
hello.
only have one bathroom, so it's going to be busy.
Jim, who else is there?
Let's see. We'll go around the room. Barbara, Will, Francine, Helga, Mark,
Hello.
Raymond,
Hey,
and
Will.
David, and Sandy. Hey.
Hey, Sandy.
How are you?
Hey.
Yes,
Mark.
when Brian was here, we had an awesome time, so it was great. Really looking forward to coming back.
Yes. I'll be back in the fall.
Yes, excellent. It was unbelievable. We had a great.
Yes.
So.
I'm sure. We're waiting for the audios or videos that we were promised.
The audio.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
That was Sandy. Sandy's right here.
Hey, Sandy.
Okay. So, what were you going to say, Brian? Huh? I'm going to mute you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
No, the recordings and stuff, my private sessions with Jim, the video didn't really turn out very well. All you see is you see Jim perfectly, but now my hands you just see my hands moving. So I'll have to just put up the MP3 part of it. It's pretty emotional, but everything worked out really well. I was just so happy to be there with Jim. He's got a great heart, and I love his spirit.
Yeah, I know. I enjoyed being with them too.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't stay the full 2 days. I left Sunday pretty early, so
You're gonna have to go back and see him.
yeah. I'm gonna have to go
Make the
back
trip
and see
and go and stay a little bit longer. It's really cool.
Yes.
And I make that request to everybody. If you guys get a chance to go see Jim and be there a couple days, do it, because you'll have a great time. It's just really nice, and you get to meet Will too. And Will's a really down to earth, awesome guy, and I really love and appreciate Will also.
Yeah, Will wasn't there when I went.
Ah.
You know, I don't think he had met Jim at that point yet. So.
Yes.
But I had such a great time with Tucker. Oh my God! Every time I think about it, it was so good.
Yes. Yeah, Tucker is definitely a mother figure. Mother Tucker.
No, we had a girl-to-girl chat.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So.
That's cool.
So we actually chit-chatted.
Oh, there's Brian. Hey, Brian.
Yeah, they're muted. No,
okay.
I muted Jim.
Okay. Yeah, Brian's there. He's to the left of Jim, behind Jim.
Yeah, is that the new neighbor?
Yeah, that's Jim's neighbor. He's really nice, down-to-earth guy.
Hey.
Cool.
Maybe Jim wants to introduce.
Lucky neighbor.
Yeah, lucky neighbor, all right. Brian, you're really lucky. They're not listening.
So I have a thing I want to say for those who are listening. I have always thought about this. I want to welcome you guys who are watching us. We are over 1,000 subscribers. We have many viewers each week.
We have 37 right now.
Wow. So hello to all of them.
Yes.
And not nearly any of them, or enough of them I should say, comes to our hangouts or to even this webinar. So I want to put out an invitation for you. If you feel new, come here. You have a seat here. You're welcome. We're waiting for you, and we're eager to get to know you and to expand. So please join. And if you don't know how to or don't know how to set up an account, type in the website, in the search thing, in the search bar, welcome team. And in there, talk to any of us, Sabrina, me. There's a lot of people who answer there, and they can help you.
Tyler, yes. Yeah, there are many people that are answering there. I also want to say that if you're new and you haven't been able to get into the webinars, contact me and I will get you in. So first timers, I try and allow them at least a one-time seat, so that they can get in and get some questions answered and jump into the webinar, because I know at times it's very hard for people to get in. So just contact one of us, Hyan, Roe, or myself, and I will get you in. Were there any other things that we wanted to say? I just want to... Oh, he's back. So,
All right, are we good to go on my side?
Okay.
All right.
We're all set.
Thank you so much, everybody, and thank you guys for your wonderful, warm welcomes. Before we get started, just 1 minute to explain kind of how this works. I'm going to be connecting to Aridif first, and Aridif is the ancient Pleaidian, sixth density being. He is Treb's teacher, and they're both a little different. Aridif has a more direct approach that's based in orientation of information. He also, understands and projects some love, but Treb is more connected and heart-centered information. His information's not less profound or less worthy, but it's just a different level of consciousness. So I'm going to connect to Aridif first. If you want to ask Aridif or Treb a question, just make sure you discern who you're asking, and they can change over. I'm going to start by breathing and then doing an oming sound, which is very loud, so maybe you turn your headphones down for that part. I'm not sure if you want to. It's a very unique sound, but it helps me get ready. And when I do that, then there'll be a little bit of breathing, oming, and then Aridif will come in. Now, the way that the information works is that each person who asks a question, Treb or Aridif will connect to their energy. And when they connect to their energy, all of the entities or beings who are connected to you in that moment, if you're asking a personal question, they will find that energy and information. And it can be from your day-to-day brain, your third density self. It can be from your higher self, your oversoul, your spirit guides, beings who are connected to you, collectives, oversoul itself. But they'll extract that information from there and then reflect it back to you in their own perception. Now, the more clear that you are with your own energy, the more excited, the more happy, the more aligned that you are, the better the information will reflect. So someone who's really nervous and really scattered and really frustrated, their answers might not come back to you in necessarily the greatest reflection, but if you're clear and you're excited and you're aligned with yourself, then the information will flow very well. So everyone, while I'm connecting, if you want to use that green breathing technique and just kind of center yourself, you can. If not, you don't have to. But again, I'm very grateful, guys, and we'll see you on the other side, okay?
Okay.
Greetings to you all. This is Aridif, that is Aridif, and this is it spelled. There are many of you who are stepping forward with your own queries and desires. You may begin questions at your leisure.
Brian?
Hello there, my friend. Greetings. This is Brian.
Yes, greetings to you, Brian. We are fine, and you are loved.
Yes, my friend. I was asking about your civilizations and even Treb's. Do you, at this time in our Earth history, are we allowed to do site-to-site transfer for physical, going physically to your ships, or is that something down in the far-flung future?
For Treb Bor Yit NE's race specifically, they do not connect humans upon a physical level. For our race, we have been extensively spot throughout your entirety of history. We have connected to you as recently as 1,100 years ago in your past, but have not projected into future physical interactions until those who are more physically looking as you do will connect you for your comfort level ability. The first race that will connect you are those that are of the hybrid race, connections that are appearing more as you physically. It is a comfort level concept of those who are begin initiation of physical interactions.
That's beautiful. Thank you very much, my friend.
Yes, you are loved.
Hi, Aridif. This is Sabrina.
Yes, greetings, Sabrina.
Greetings. My question, I don't know if you can answer this, or Treb. My question was, I wanted to know about my possible future life, like the one that I have the highest connection to.
Yes, first of all, let us express this concept, that each moment when you are changing your vibration and energy, you are connecting to different probabilities. In the probabilities of the last 8 months of your lifetime, there is one entity who stands forward the most within probabilities of connection for future incarnations. This entity is one that you would perceive as humanoid and similar to those of the perfect Pleaidian race. In your perception, they are appearing to be perfect humans, but in this concept, we are connecting to these entities from the Pegasus constellation. They are not in a star that is named, or at least one that is named in the NCH category within your star charts. In this constellation, there is this energy from this incarnation in which you are most apt to be connected to. This entity most specifically connects to you not only in your dream state, not only in your day-to-day awakened consciousness, but often appears to you as a glitter of light within the corner of your eye in gold and silver variety. This entity is consistently making contact with you, but in this concept we also assure you that as your vibration changes, this entity perhaps will move outside of the probability of being your future incarnation, but this is up to you completely. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's next?
Hello.
Yes, greetings to you.
This is Naida. My question is, last week I have been around the beings in my dream, but it feels very, very physically. They were very, very tall. I just don't remember the faces, but I had very serious conversation with them. Even though when I open my eyes, I feel very, very dizzy. I couldn't even walk. I just want to know what kind of beings they were. What was the conversation? Thank you.
Yes, first of all, when we see entities that are connecting to you, there are 3 separate races. 2 of these, out of your perception, would be tall in comparison to the average human height. Both of these entities are ones that are humanoid or bipedal in nature, one of them being what you would call a hybrid race, the other being a reptilian human hybrid. Both of these entities are connecting more deeply to you, but when you are looking at the physical state, or what appears to be physical, there is quite a difference between your sleep state connections or your in-between sleep state connections and what you would perceive as a fourth density connection. Mind you that all of you are in the fourth density consciousness availability in this moment, but most of you decide or choose to live in the third density the majority of the time. During the time in which you are not considered to be third density, you are bouncing your own consciousness in a higher level of vibration to match that of the nature of your consciousness in the fourth density. Therefore, the physical attributes of your body are then enhanced into fourth density. Therefore, you are able to connect physically in the fourth density to these entities. In your third state, mind or consciousness of mind, you would interpret or remember this interaction as being dreamlike or non-physical, but in fact it is quite physical. It is your fourth density body connecting to their fourth density self, and in this interaction, out of both of the races that are tall, you have had one fourth density physical connection to a race. These races, we are not sure of the name, but the vibrational is fit out of the area that you would call Ursa Minora, a constellation between the first and third brightest star. It is one that is approximately 3,400 light years from you and would not be visible to your naked eye unless a telescope was involved. These entities are ones that are only a projection of consciousness that are manifesting in front of you through your oversoul variety. It is not an outward connection, nor is most of your connections as a collective or human experience that you feel, associate with, or experience yourself. When you are connecting to one entity or one race of entities, it is often because of your oversoul's connection. When you are connecting to these entities through your oversoul, you are able to experience an energy that is quite larger than yourself, therefore it feels to be overwhelming or even dreamlike in nature. Let us assure you that when you are feeling this, and in your intuitive status, you are truly connecting physically to them. Allow your intuition to serve you. Open your intuition with trust in nature of connecting to these entities, and you will do so more frequently. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to ask the people that have asked their questions to leave and give space to others. And also, I would like to see if anybody on Jim's side would like to ask anything at this point. Perhaps you can prepare, and we will take one more from our side, which is Jag.
Greetings.
Greetings to you.
My question would be if there is any relevant information that needs to come through at this time.
Understanding that the word relevant is of different importance or variety to others, in which way do you mean this? Relevant to yourself, relevant to this group collective, or relative to the entirety of the Earth collective consciousness? And in what way do you mean coming through? From your own guidance, from entities within your oversoul, or any general information?
Yes, thank you for that clarification. For myself personally, and the guidance systems that are available to me at this moment in time.
Yes, there is information that comes through you from what you perceive as a spirit guide. This entity is one that is non-physical to your perception and is living in between a physical incarnation of Earth experience. This entity itself is bringing forward information that consistent with your own desire to be more relevant in your perception of intuition and or connection, says that without a certain level of trust or belief within yourself, information will not come through. More specifically, when you are trying to meditate, when you are trying to connect, you must place an intent with belief in your own ability beforehand, and during the time that when you are meditating, to use this visualizative technique that will help you allow more clarity of your connection. First of all, look into your own third eye projection, and when you are seeing your third eye, you are connecting an upside down triangle. Project this into the visualization of your third eye in the color of indigo. And in your throat chakra, you are using a square shape that is the color of blue. In your heart chakra, you are using a two-sided object, a flat design that is only two lines that intersect, and with that, placing it in your heart chakra with the color of green. Using this will help allow a bridge of information and energy to project more energy into your third eye. In the third eye area, there is a lack of connection to certain energies because of your belief systems in your own ability. This will help open the third eye more so and make the energy and information more clear to you. Thank you.
Greetings, Aridif. This is Brother JC Ibarra.
Yes, greetings to you.
I wanted to say thank you very much, and then I also wanted to ask, what was the reasoning for waking me up at 4:44 a.m. today, and if you could expand upon what it is you guys are doing with having me meet all the channelers that we are inspired by physically in our 3D timeline. Thank you.
Yes, thank you as well. And first of all, let us express, it is not us that is awakening you. It is not us that is connecting you to these entities. This is a desire within yourself. When you are desiring to connect to these entities, therefore, to expand your own work in connection or channeling state, this is what helps manifest the desire. What you are doing is using our energy of love and acceptance, using that in order to help you manifest these capabilities. And in the 4:44 a.m., it is not myself that comes to you to wake you up. It is yourself being excited of the upcoming energy in our interaction, therefore using this to manifest a meeting with my energy in order to help you manifest not only your connection to the channeled state, your connection to other entities who are channeling in this moment, but also to help you open up your energy to a degree in which you are still finding more growth within. In this interaction, what all of you are doing when you call upon us is not using our own energy specifically for one orientation. You are excited to be in our presence. You are using that excitement to fuel yourself. But if you desire, you are able to use an intent that allows our energy to connect to yours more deeply, and using this for a manifestation of your desire. This is what you are doing, Justin, specifically when you are connecting to your own energy, into your own heart's desire. This is what allows the information and energy to flow more so. Thank you.
Hello, Ariff. It's Gabriel here.
Yes, greetings, Gabriel.
Yes, and I got the idea to ask you about my Pleaidian family, if you can share anything, because I met them once in my bedroom, two entities. If you're able to share anything about that.
Yes, first let us express that when you are using the term Pleaidian, this is a large blanket term. This is a term that encompasses thousands of separate races within one area of what you perceive as time-space. In the Pleaidian region, tens of thousands of races are interacting or dividing themselves amongst one another in order to achieve a collective consciousness that the Earth entities call Pleaidian in nature. So if you are understanding the larger energy that comes with the blanketing of the term Pleaidian, what you are perceiving is that there are three separate races that are connecting to you from this Pleaidian region. One of these entities are what you perceive as the perfect human Pleaidian. The other is an insectoid race that is connecting to you. The other is one in which is a hybrid of gray and human. When you are perceiving the specific vision or specific meeting, we are not reading which of these three that it is, but the one in which you are interacting with the most are the humanoids and the human gray hybrids. Both of these entities have not only manifested themselves through a connection of your dream state, but have also interacted in the fourth density way. By your own desire to connect to these entities more deeply, by a flushing out of any belief systems of yours that tend to be limiting yourself to be able to connect to these entities, this is what will help you open up not only a clearer or better communication, but also a more frequent one in the physical nature. Thank you.
So the memory of the physical meeting, could that help me connect to them as well? Because they left, I saw them for about 4 or 5 seconds in my bedroom.
Yes,
And I feel they are family.
Yes, any time that you are bringing forth a memory of fondness, any time that you are bringing forth a memory with any vibrational status that allows you to connect more deeply and more intimately with their specific vibration signature will be of assistance to you. When you are thinking of the specific moment, when you are feeling the specific energy and emotion, when you are connecting to the visual attributes of these entities, it will always help your connection go more deeply. Also, something that Rob has used within his own incarnation in the beginning to help him connect more deeply to Treb Bor Yit NE in a channeled state is this. By perceiving and visualizing the area of stars in which they reside, specifically with Treb Bor Yit NE, it is the Argai constellation, then zooming inward towards the Capellan region. Due to the nature of the Capellan region, it is actually, from your perception, one star, but in the true nature of reality, it is 4 separate stars, zooming in past the 1 star perspective, going into the largest red dwarf within the 4-star quadrant or 4-star system, then allowing him to pinpoint more accurately, more deeply, and more intimately with the specific vibration of that collective race. We suggest that you do this also. If you are looking to connect or more so with the perfect humanoids, then you will focus your energy upon Alcyon within the Pleiades region. If you desire to connect yourself to the humanoid gray hybrid race, then you are connecting more so to Electra. If you are looking to connect more so to the insectoid entities, then you are connecting to the star that is perceived to be Tigrid, or we at least believe this is how it is pronounced in your native language. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that information.
Yes, you are
Next was Ellie to ask a question, what I think.
Hello, dear friend.
Yes, greetings to you.
Greetings. I am doing recently tomorrow a ritual, which will be like a magical ritual, but it is with the planets combined. So my question is, what are the probabilities of this ritual to be successful? It will be 1 year long ritual. 6 points in the year I will perform this ritual.
Yes, in this moment now, as you are speaking, the probability of making this magic ritual manifest in the way that you desire it is 12% to 15% probability. When you hear this number, you believe that this is very low, but we are seeing several tens of thousands of probabilities. So in these probabilities, to have this percentage is quite a positive concept. What we can tell you is that at the 6 points of intersections in which you are performing the certain attributes of rituals that will help you move forward in your manifestation, to make sure that you are aligned in both positivity and excitement in those 6 intersecting points, and your manifestational abilities will rise above your 32%. If you are making this excitement a priority 1 in your existence above all other things in your life, it will raise even more so to a 43%. Understanding that if you are having 10,000 specific probabilities and you are using a 43% probability, this means that 4,300 out of the 10,000 are probable of landing towards success. This is a very high ratio. And in that way, the more excitement and focus you have, the more energy that you place upon making this manifest in your desire for each day, even when you are not doing a ritual, will increase it, therefore, much more. Thank you.
Thank you. Love and light.
Yes. Love to you as well, and you are loved.
Shir.
Hello, greetings and happy Shavuot.
Yes, greetings to you also.
Yes, I want to ask you about the 4th blood moon and if it's going to affect me and my channeling.
Yes, in what specific way do you mean effect, or do you mean any effect at all?
any effect at all?
Yes, first of all, when you are looking at what a blood moon is, you understand the scientific nature behind the mechanics of a blood moon in your physical reality. But when you are looking upon it in a non-physical, it is much different. Just as the last entity who has asked a question, they are understanding the nature of collective consciousnesses of solar system. In your own specific fourth blood moon of this age, in the specific energy and the way the moon consciousness interacts with the human consciousness and the earth entirety collective, as well as all of the bodies within your solar system collective, this alignment is one that is very special. It brings forward not only a greater awareness of your unconscious thoughts, not only a greater awareness of your non-physical attributes, but also bridging yourself to a better connection to your higher self and entities within this. So in the way that it will specifically allow or specifically affect your energy is opening up more channels within the channels that you have already opened, making those channels more clear, but more so specifically, it will allow you an opening to connect to one entity whose energy is less prioritized in your excitement of unconscious level and bring it to the forefront. This energy, in our perception, is one that will be very useful for your own energy, but also very useful for others if you were to bring this forward and to share more publicly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Jim. So, Jim, you are muted. You need to unmute.
Oh, hold on. There you go. How's that?
Yes.
Mark wants to ask a question from the room here.
Yes, greetings to Jim also.
Thank you.
This is Mark. I would like to thank you for being with us today, and I also have a question about our planet, the Earth. What or who developed the Nazca lines, and if you can tell us anything about that?
Yes, first of all,
Thank
let
you.
us express a greetings to you also, and let us express that in the connection of what you're perceiving as the Nazca lines, this is the collective energy of three different races. When you are looking into the concept of the Anunnaki entities, these entities are the first ones who inhabited the Earth, collective consciousness, manifesting it and changing the specific portions of DNA within the human collective that allowed you to exchange second density consciousness for third, jump-starting yourself. But in that collective energy, there are also two more races that are not physically affecting the Nazca lines, but are non-physically. These entities that you perceive as Anunnaki are portions of two different collective energies. So you have the Anunnaki energy, which is at the forefront, and the foremost energy of specifically and physically interacting with the lines in order to make a geometric pattern within your Earth collective to allow them to navigate more easily. But you also have what you're perceiving as the feminine, Pleaidian, androgynous collective, and also what you are perceiving as the ancient reptilians. What the Anunnaki were a combination of these two races. First of all, the Pleiadian feminine race was segregating themselves from a small portion, therefore becoming the Anunnaki. They wished to explore their masculine energy more deeply and diverge from the main group. After pushing forward and moving more so into their own energy, trying to become more masculine and separate themselves in what most of you would perceive as either the Luciferian project or the disconnection accord, all of them connected into, inadvertently connecting their own DNA to the ancient reptilian DNA. Therefore, when you see the lines, they have been utilized by several hundred races, but were originated by the first race that comes to interact with humans as you understand this, and these entities in your tongue are called the Anunnaki. Thank you.
Sharon.
Oh, thank you. Hello, my name is Sharon.
Greetings.
Greetings to you. I have really active sleepwalking, and it's become more prevalent. And I was told by Jakar in another session that it was related to a galactic sister of some sort, another entity. I was wondering if you could give me some more information about that, and also if there are any messages that could be helpful for me from my higher self. Thank you.
Yes, first of all, let us address the first issue of sleepwalking. Upon your planetary consciousness, sleepwalking is most prevalent for two reasons. One, because you are connected non-physically to another entity very deeply. It is what some of you call twin flames, what some of you call counterparts and oversoul activity, but what it is, truly, is another entity within your oversoul that is either directly, vibrationally the same as yourself, or directly vibrationally the opposite. Therefore, it is much as two opposite puzzle pieces connecting into one energy. When you are connecting to these entities, the energy of themselves comes within your physical body. Some of you are exchanging energies into their physical bodies. They're in sleep state. Some of you will manifest this outward as bipolar disease or even schizophrenia. In your case, you are manifesting it outwards as sleepwalking. The other scenario in which sleepwalking occurs is when you are asleep and in your consciousness connected to your physical body, what you are doing in the dream state is then manifested outward into the physical body. Your attachment to the physical body is stronger than the average connection, and this is why it allows the movements in dream state to be manifested out in the physical body. But with your case specifically, your energy tied to this entity, tied to the energetic connection to this entity is what is causing this. If you are looking for a message from your higher self, it is this. There is a great deal of looking inwards upon yourself with judgment in certain social scenarios. When you are connecting to other people, when you are sharing yourself from your heart, when you are desiring to make friends or connect to new people, there is a great unconscious, subconscious, as well as conscious fear. There is a part of you that is desiring to be accepted and a part of you that does not feel as if you are being accepted. In that scenario, when you are connecting to new entities, try to remind yourself of your own divinity. Try to remind yourself that you are the one who is creating these connections to be had. Therefore, any judgment that comes from these entities to you is not truly something that can affect your energy unless your belief allows it. Try to remind yourself that as much as some of your beliefs in psychic protection, you must place an energetic wall outside of yourself that only allows love and acceptance but does not allow judgment. But before you are able to do this more permanently, you must do this with yourself. Allow acceptance within yourself, allow love within yourself, and when you do find yourself in a vibrational thought pattern that is not resonant with what you are, do not judge yourself in that moment. Do not hold on to that unforgiving nature that you will when you are looking within. This can also be helpful to all who are here within the collective consciousness this day. Thank you, and understand more than anything, you are loved.
Thank you.
Yes.
This is Hayan.
Yes, greetings.
I want to ask... Greetings. Much love. I want to ask about drumming, which is my highest passion.
Yes.
And maybe if you can talk about it a little bit general, like is it a universal thing? And a little bit individual about if I have past lives where I used to drum, or, you know, if you can tell me something about that.
Yes, first of all, let us express to you this, that when you are connecting to the concept of drumming, it is a concept that is deeply ingrained within all human DNA. The sound of music itself is one thing that either activates you in a positive way or negative way, depending on your beliefs and polarity in energy. But the reason it is so strong for all of your purpose and intent and purposes or experiences is this, that as a second density being, you used your nature sounds in order to help guide you into realizations. After exchanging your second density consciousness to third density consciousness, you utilize the sounds that you had created within yourselves and begin to create these instruments to emulate. What you are doing is creating a natural, archaic rhythm within your drums, within your instruments, in order to fulfill an energy that you desire very greatly. It is affecting the human collective because of the jump of consciousness from second to third and the shortcut that the Anunnaki had placed within changing your DNA. Your growth had come at a very short time period for the rate of natural evolution for your species. Therefore, filling in this vibrational difference with the drumming, filling it in with your native sound, was what helped you allow a more conscious effort towards integrating consciousness and a more conscious effort in integrating sound variety into your daily existence. Understanding you yourself have been a drummer amongst many incarnations, amongst many different separate segregated countries or time periods as you would perceive this, and different ethnicities, then it allows you to understand the nature of your own desire for drumming. Now, when you are experiencing drumming in this incarnation, the desire to drum, the act of drumming itself, it brings forward almost a channel-like state in certain instances. When you are letting go of yourself, when you are letting go of the sense of self and accepting and connecting to your higher self and oversoul, this is what allows you specifically, but also many of you, to be able to play your instrument in an advantageous way of higher self connecting directly to the music. It feels as if you are in a trance, if time itself is let go and you are truly in the rhythm of the music. This occurs as a portion of your higher self is being brought forward to incorporate all entities who are excited of and connected of in your oversoul to that one base rhythm. Music runs thickly through the veins of human collective consciousness and truly thickly through your native entities amongst all continents. So accepting your heritage of music, understanding and allowing the feeling of music to vibrate within you will be a great bridge for you to help build your other connections in the intuitive sense. We congratulate you for this. You are loved.
Thank you. That explains why I love every type of drumming.
Yes, you have played every type of drumming within your experience.
Yes, yes. And on behalf of the people of Hukula, because I don't think anyone will ask this, do you have anything to say about the co-creation we are doing with Galactic?
We are not hearing the exact words, we hear the word co-creation, and what is after co-creation?
He was asking do you have any opinions or any comments about the co-creation, what we're doing here in Hukula?
Yes, first of all, we wish to express a great gratitude to all of you. When you are experiencing a collective consciousness upon this scale about any certain idea, you are helping allow an energy to be created. You are also connecting to energies in which have already been manifested or created by others and tapping yourself into that energy. The more excitement that individually you bring to this collective, the more excited and expanded the collective may receive. In your own specific work, in your own interactions, you will all enrich one another's life with love, one another's life with excitement, and this is what experience as a human entity is meant to be. When you are experiencing anything, whether it be the worst day of your life to the greatest and all in between, this is being fed to your oversoul. The oversoul does not see in polarity as your fractal consciousness day-to-day self does. When your oversoul is connecting to the experiences, be it bad or be it good, it is appreciating and enjoy of experience. Your human collective is now expanding outward to other planetary collectives in order to co-create experiences just for this small collective. When you are looking at your human colony collective, you have allowed yourself to embrace the connection of one another to expand your connection into other planetary collectives and co-create amongst a larger level. This is something that is phenomenal with the human collective, that you are helping others become excited for, and that others are being able to connect to your energy, and also the planetary collectives of others. We congratulate you for your success in the co-creational magnitude of greatness within all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's next?
I have one question, if that's okay.
Go
Yes.
ahead. My name's Alan. It's nice to meet you.
Yes, greetings to you, Alan. We are not hearing the voice as of anymore.
I was just wondering, do you have any messages for me personally?
Yes, in my own consciousness, there is nothing specifically for me to tell you, but if I am looking at your energy in the way that you would perceive, I am looking at tens and thousands of different layers of energy. They are intersecting and interacting with one another. If you are desiring one specific concept or a specific idea, I will be able to find that energy and give you something more valid or more tangible.
Okay. Well, I think I'll pass it. I'll let someone else speak for now because my mind's going to be blank.
For one moment, let us express this, that if your desire is to receive a message from an entity within your oversoul or to connect to an entity that is connecting to your oversoul, we will say that there are many entities in this moment. One entity specifically steps forward and expresses greetings to you, and it also expresses that in your dream state they have connected to you for at least 2 of your months. When you are looking at your month lineage in 2 months, you are seeing a certain pattern of different thoughts in which are not normal to the perhaps negative thinking of your own. If your desire to open this connection more deeply is there, place an intent to connect with a Lonjee, L-O-N-J-E-E, Lonjee entities from what you're perceiving as the Medusa constellation, or perhaps it is not called the Medusa, but it is embodying the picture of Medusa, and within that constellation the Lonjee are willing and desiring to connect you more deeply in dream state. Open your intent before sleep state. This will allow more vivid co-creation in your sleep state. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, you are loved.
So, hi, my name is JD.
Yes, greetings to you.
Can intelligence be measured in some kind of percent, or is it measurable?
In what intelligence are you speaking of? The audio connection cut outward before you express percentage of intelligence.
Sorry, you disappeared for me to. Yeah. So, if you can hear me now, then my question would be on a human. Let's say an average human. What is the? Could it be measured, the intelligence of a human being?
Yes. First of all, let us express this concept to you. In the way that humans perceive intelligence, we do not perceive intelligence in this fashion. In our perception, there is no such thing as intelligence. There is clarity of thought, clarity of heart, clarity of intuition, clarity of interaction. In those formats, there is ways to interpret and to perceive, but even measuring these is an impossibility for our race. As we perceive, it is perceptions and belief that orient your reality, the truths and non-truths within them. Therefore, to measure these types of flows of energy for any one person is an impossibility. What we do perceive is the individual signature in which all entities exist within, and measure a flow of these concepts in a polarity of their beliefs, in a polarity of their own design, but not being able to place percentages or definitions or labels. Our race sees less division than your race does in many things, and this is why we do not categorize in the same fashion you do. Understanding that when you are using your mind, it is very healthy, it is very good, it is not a negative thing. But when you use your mind only to interpret your reality, you are disassociating your heart, you are disassociating your intuition and flow of interaction. Then all of the things within your mind are only one flow of energy, one perception. We cannot calculate it being one flow, multiple flows, or orientations of flows. It is only an experience to be had. None of them are correct, none of them are incorrect. They are just experiences. Thank you.
So if I can just ask 2 more questions. So when you say that human beings categorize themselves,
Liney? Oh, okay.
could I be heard?
No, you're breaking up. Why don't we allow others to ask? And
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Liney? Go ahead, Liney.
Hello, Aridif.
Yes, greetings to you. Your voice is very low, so if you are able to speak either closer to your microphone mechanism or in a louder register, this would be greatly appreciated.
Right, will do. It's about fourth dimensional energy. I can feel it more in my head than my body. How can I feel it more in my body as well as much as I do in my head?
Yes, we understand this concept. What we can tell you specifically of being able to feel more of this fourth density energy in your body instead of in your head alone is this. When you are opening yourself to the perception of fourth density, see how it affects your physical body. And we are not speaking large leaps of energy, large bolts of electricity, hot, tingling sensations or scratching. We are meaning simply the smallest measure of movement, the smallest measure of interactions, and the smallest measure of reactions in your physical body. Understand, when you think of the fourth density consciousness, there are many energies that accompany this. If you understand where the chakra systems are within your physical body, it will give you a concept of where the energy comes through. When you begin to feel sensations in your lower legs or your anus region, when you are thinking more specifically of the fourth density, it means that there is a safety mechanism within you that is not allowing energy to be felt of the fourth density. When you are feeling it in your genital region, this means your second density, your sense of sexuality, your sense of excitement and thrill are not allowing the fourth density energy to be felt. When you are feeling it in your solar plexus region, below your heart, what you are sensing is that the feel of your individual consciousness, the feeling of yourself, separating yourself from the collective consciousness is what is restricting. But when you feel it in your heart, when you feel it anywhere higher than your heart chakra, this means you are allowing yourself to connect to fourth density. Then, through the smallest awareness of the smallest interactions or reactions, grow an intuitive awareness of where it is interacting. Become more aware of this, and you will sense it more to your physical body. Awareness is the first key of understanding your physical body. Each time that any of you think of a certain idea or a certain concept, it will interact with one of your 7 chakras within your physical body, and when it does, it tells you a great deal about where you stand with that idea. Any concept you can bring forward, feel which chakra it manifests sensations through, and then you will be able to experience either your flow of energy or disconnection of energy when it comes to the concept. To feel it within your head, this is one region that we can express. If you are using these terms to express that you mentally understand this, then there is the technique that we teach you. But if you are saying you are feeling sensations of energy in your head, it means you are already achieved an awareness of this. As it is above your heart chakra, continue to utilize your awareness of it in your head, and then try to place an intent to move it through your physical body, and the fourth density will become a higher reality in all chakra systems. Thank you.
Thank you.
Maria?
Hi, my name is Maria, and I have a question. Greeting to y'all. I have a question. It's in regard of our higher self. The first one is just yes and no. I was wondering, since I have a family in a Pleaidian family, does that mean that a fraction of my soul or myself, however you want to name it, is living there at this now and moment? And the other question, how can I get my higher self interested to live in 3D world? Because it's hard to integrate it. Thank you so much. Love and light to all.
Yes, you are loved as well. First of all, let's just address the concept. If you understand that you have a Pleaidian family, if your heart resonates with the Pleaidian concept, if you feel the presence of Pleaidian energy, it is because there is one fractal consciousness within your oversoul that exists in this moment in that area. Understanding that all of your past lives, all of your future lives are happening in this moment. There is no such thing as linear time besides the point in which you are manifesting it for that experience. In third density, it is an experience that all of you can share. First of all, knowing that this entity is existing within your own oversoul at this moment will then allow you more energetic shift. Now, if you are expressing how your higher self may live with you within the third density, let us express that you are living from your higher self in the third density. That each of you are two individual energies, or at least the you that you understand as you, the you who lives in this environment, in this time, in this perception, focusing your energy in this now, you are coming in two parts of energy. We have expressed this concept as the upside down ice cap, or the upside down polar cap. What you are is 80% of consciousness is above your energy. 20% is your lower fractalized consciousness. Now, in your lower fractal consciousness, the 20% of all that is of you in this life, in this time, in this incarnation, is experienced from day to day in your lower 20%. This is what we would call the lower fractalized consciousness. This is the portion of you that you dream, that cries, that experiences life in the day-to-day moment in what you perceive as the third density. The other version of yourself is what we would call your higher fractal consciousness. This is a portion of you that most of you would call your higher self, that connects to you in intuition, that connects to you in dream state, that you access when you are meditating and when you are connecting to what you're perceiving as your oversoul. This energy in the higher 80% of yourself is the direct connection to your oversoul. The oversoul is literally thousands of lifetimes of third density, hundreds of lives of fourth density, dozens of lives of fifth, and several lives in sixth density, plus all of the hundreds of thousands of incarnations as high second density, millions of lower second density, and trillions of first densities, all combined. The oversoul is every single essence of anything that you have been or will be combined into one. The Earth Collective itself holds 144,000 oversouls and also 144,000 twin souls. When you look at twin souls, what they are is a separate entity from the oversoul itself that was spawned during or birthed as a mitosis state entity, reflecting the capability to change perspectives of one reality for the oversoul itself. It is a mechanism that devises, collects, and brings forward to the awareness of the oversoul all probabilities, infinite amounts of probabilities, and exchanges them. We understand this is a bit complex to speak of in a short time, but in this layout of consciousness, you are able to see how your lower fractal consciousness integrates to your higher self, how the higher self integrates into different portions of the oversoul, how the oversoul connects to the collective consciousness, therefore how you are able to experience all things. If you desire to bring some of your other entities that you perceive into your experience, you may manifest them physically, you may bring them forward, but you will never be able to incorporate that portion into your consciousness, because the fractal consciousness that you are in both lower fractal consciousness and higher fractal consciousness is the you that you are. The only way to change this is change polarity, change your belief systems in your actions and your thoughts, and it will then resemble another entity that is within your oversoul, but to change them out or express them as one entity living another's life is something that in the mechanics of the oversoul is quite impossible. You may only emulate what you desire and change your vibration accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you. Slava is next, and then the gentleman that is with Jim.
Yes.
Hello.
Greetings.
I am interested in your perspective. Why hybrid children so important for humanity? And why hybrid children so important for me personally? And can you share a little bit about my strongest spiritual connections? I know I will be contacted in future with some AT and hybrid children. Thank you.
Yes, first of all, let us look at the concept of the importance of hybrid children. In a perspective, they are not important. In other perspectives, they are very important. Each one of you individually may decide the importance of these entities. For entities who are not aware of hybrid children, for entities who have no excitement or desire to connect with them, they are not important at all, nor will they be a part of their existence. As you all create your own reality, this perception is brought forward by your own beliefs and excitements. Now, with yourself, the reason that they are important to you is because of your excited state, because of your excitement and your actions into your excitements. Therefore, by placing excitement, connecting to that energy in each moment, and allowing these entities to interact with you more vividly, this will help allow these entities to be a part of your co-creation. When you experience it in this fashion, it brings forth a greater understanding and a great knowing, a greater energy of all connections that you share with these children. Now, when you are speaking of your next connection or your greatest connection within the oversoul, there are many. We are not able to express the depths of what will be held in your future, as each choice that you make brings you to a new portion or a new probable experience to be had within your twin soul. But this being expressed, we will share with you. There are 3 connections within your oversoul that are very valid, that are very strong, and are very perhaps worthy of your attention in your perception. All 3 of these will allow a greater amount of communication and a great amount of understanding within yourself. Now, understanding that by finding what these connections are, we would be able to reflect this, but there is something within your beliefs that is not allowing us to connect more so to the energy of what and who they are. All you are able to do is express an intent to open yourself up to names, energies, and perceptions in your sleep state, and it will be brought in forward. Allow yourself to relax over what the connection is and enjoy the feeling of the connection, and this will bring you closer to more of the energy. Thank you.
James?
Raymond?
Okay.
Yeah, there was getting the mic there. Greetings and love to you, artists.
Greetings to you. We are hearing you, but in a broken pattern.
How about now?
Yes, this is much more clear.
Is this better?
Yes.
All right, good. For little clarification on the Pleaidian star, for how we pronounce it, it is Tegeta. To let you know that.
Yes.
The question I have about myself is, why have I been seeing very prophetic dreams about people passing on lately? People very close to me in heart.
Yes, let us express our own gratitude for the clarification, and secondly, what we can tell you of your specific dream state, your specific perception of those that you love who are passing, is in two different definitions. The very first definition is that the more that you are exchanging your consciousness into the fourth density integration, the more that you are seeing the instantaneous manifestations of your desires. Or if you are disaligned or unaligned with a concept, the more that you manifest towards a disconnection of that in which you desire. This dream state is bringing forward the understanding of more clarity when it comes to yourself, bringing forward things that excite you and separation of things that do not excite you. But when energy or fear or unalignment comes within your reality, then you will begin to disassociate yourself with the things that you do care of, the things that you are excited. This, in one format, is meaning that you are disconnecting certain attributes from your manifestational quality by bringing forward a worry or a fear of certain ideas. This is one meaning for two of the dream state. The second meaning in which it comes is that it is showing you that your experiences is consistently and vibrationally changing in all moments, that all of the things in which you have expected not to occur, such as losing those that you love around you, such as moving in certain attributes of your location or area in which you reside, all of these things that you would not expect will change within your experience. And the more that you align with yourself, the quicker they change. The more that you align yourself, it will change for things that are better. And in this way, it is something that is happening with all humans, in the collective consciousness in this moment. When you are connecting to the dream state, remind yourself that if you place an alignment within yourself, that you will be able to manifest a more clarity of what the dream is trying to express to you. In this way, it is showing you these two concepts in this moment. But if you are able to relax yourself before dream state, remind yourself of the intent within yourself to clarify certain energies and certain degrees, it will bring forward more clear energy into your intuitive state. Your intuition is opening more so and more so each day. With the intuition opening comes the concept of discernment. Many of you are very deeply invested in your beliefs of how I interpret certain concepts, I will receive them. But in this way, you must try to break down your barriers of what you see and what you experience and trying to find a more deep definition of these concepts. When you dream of yourself running from something, you will perceive that there is something in my life I am not facing. This is not always correct. In the dream state, what this represents to you is a desire to move forward, or it can mean a tiring of oneself from consistently doing something that is not being fruitful to them. And in that way, these dream states represent many different things, and opening yourself to an interpretation that is more fitting will help allow you an energy that has greater understanding. In this moment, the two definitions of what we have given you is what to look into within those specific dreams of losing others. So we thank you, and you are loved. Let us express that we have time in connection for one last question before we disconnect in this day.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you as well. You are loved.
David would be the last person.
Yes.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, we are able to hear you very clearly.
Thank you, Aridif.
Yes.
Treb told me that in order to facilitate better channeling and better communication with extraterrestrials, it would be helpful if I also would have a better communication with other people on Earth in my daily life. And I'm just wondering if you would have some practical tips how I could bring that about.
Yes, first of all, in that energy, Treb Bor Yit NE is very correct in that expression, as the smaller scale of all things lead to the larger scales. Manifestations of what is within start without and then begin to cycle further outward. So in this way, your connection to yourself is important. Once this is achieved, a connection to others. Once this is achieved, others that are further away in your perspective, such as extraterrestrials, after that, etc., etc. So as you are connecting inward to outward, the tips that we will give you, not only, as Treb Bor Yit NE expressed to you, the inwards acceptance, the acceptance of yourself, the non-judgment of yourself, but also the belief systems that you hold that certain individuals can be rude or mean or hurtful or non-accepting. This belief in itself will bring forward a manifestation of more entities who are hurtful, who are not accepting, and who will judge you. The more that you let go of your perception on how certain members of the collective are, the less that you will see it in your existence. If you express deeply and with a true belief within yourself that if I am able to experience all in the collective, they will all be kind, they will all be loving, they will all be accepting and open-minded, you will start to experience it more so. Now we understand human consciousness is not able to take a great leap of faith on not all of you in one step. So what we suggest is start small as you express practical terminology or practical steps forward for the manifestation of greater things. In this format, express that all entities in which I interact with, in which I have had no previous knowledge, in this one day will be of this certain gender, or will speak in a certain register, or will be from a certain country when I am on Facebook. Any of these concepts that you give yourself and try to invest yourself into that belief, you can see it come to fruition. You have created that reality in that moment. And the more that you create in smaller scales, the larger scales will become, the more that you will be able to see your own manifestational qualities and your own creatorship of your reality, then the more investment you can have into further manifestations. So start off small. The first person in which likes my Facebook post will be a female. And once you see this come to fruition, then you are able to say, the next 5 people in which I interact with will all be from this country. And when you see that manifest, you continue. If you desire to manifest the sandwich, one cannot usually in the Earth Collective start off with manifesting a sandwich within your lap without making it or without having someone bring it to you. You cannot manifest it out of thin air automatically. Yes, humans are capable of this, but there is a great deal of resistance within humanity to do this. So starting off small is always of the utmost importance. First of all, you will express that if I desire a verbal intent to a friend, to a family member, that they will make me a sandwich and bring it to me. Then, the next one, going into a restaurant in which normally you would pay money to receive a sandwich, walk in and express, this is my favorite sandwich, I wish that you would give me one. And then they give you this without paying money. You must take incremental steps to see that what you are doing is taking foot, seeing that what you are doing is working, and seeing that your manifestational prowesses are truly there, and being able to create each step will give you more confidence to invest more of the belief, which will then in turn yield the same amount of results in which percentage you have invested initially into your experience. This is what we can suggest to you, taking small steps, even if it is not based in making friends. It will give you the proof that you need in order to invest more into yourself in that co-creational quality. Thank you. You are loved. Before we disconnect, we wish to express to all of you that in our connection with you in this day, as Treb Bor Yit NE has told many entities within the human collective, that when we are connecting and conversing, we are expressing ideas that we have never exchanged with your independent energy in each moment. As we do this, as we bring forward our own information, as you reflect with your questions and your interactions, this is a brand new energy. And as we co-create this energy together, we are able to experience more of ourselves as we are a part of one and a part of all that is. You are also a part of all that is and a part of oneness. So therefore, by receiving answers from us or receiving things that do not resonate with you are still a portion of you experiencing and expressing yourself outside of yourself in the way of interacting with this connection that we have all had this day. We are very grateful for connecting to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
we
you.
bid you adieu
Thank
for this
you.
evening. Yes.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. We really appreciate you sharing all of your knowledge and understanding, your love and compassion, and it is so wonderful that you could be with us today. I'm sure everyone is really happy. It was a very exciting time for me. I really enjoyed it. Thank you very, very much.
Oh, well,
Much love to you.
I passed that on to Aridif, and he said you're welcome too. Treb said too that he's there with you guys too. I don't know. It seems like he might not have talked that much today, Treb, but he said he was there with all of you guys too. So.
Thank you, Treb.
Thank you, Treb.
Yes.
I had a question for
Thank
Treb, but
you.
next time.
He is great, isn't he?
But we're running out of time.
Yes.
Yeah. We're running out of time because I have to leave. So, Sabrina, would you like to close with a prayer?
Yes, I will
And
close.
thank you, Rob, for being here so much.
Thank you, Rob.
You guys are welcome. I
So,
love you
I
guys, and
appreciate
thanks for
that.
what you're doing here.
Thank you.
Much love back to you.
Thank you as well.
Kia katanana kiolo katanana skoru akali tiyo tanio kota. Iu si ala katio tononoku. Bola nio kota liata. Onsalia taki yutu si yuaki. Eno ariaki atuku. Ontania lio osa. Antononoku. Oli sio kota tioko. Onakiali. Antonasi, eyi yukutu noku okutu, onasakatu, oli yutali otono, unokotu kolukotu, yuka, onakatu kuataka.
So many blessings we send down to you, so many thoughts of understanding and wisdom we try to manifest within you. We have many perspectives of many things, and these are all things that you will understand in time. You will gather that there is truth and understanding, love and wisdom within us, and that we will carry that through with your ascension. We will help you rise in a way that will help humanity understand who it is in its ultimate form. Much love and many generations of love have been sent to this particular generation of beginnings and profound meanings. We always want to bring you that which is most desirable at a time. So let the universe speak to you, and all the perspectives of the universe will come to you in its own way, in its own perspective and understanding. So we give you love, because love brings the understanding of it all together.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Thank you again, Rob. That was absolutely amazing. I loved it. There were so many great points of perception, love, and understanding there, and so much information. I'll have to listen to it 5 times before I get it all. So, and maybe even 6. But very much love to you, and thank you for being with us today. So.
Thank you too.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Love you guys.
Love you, everybody.
We'll sign out.
Yes, thank you, everybody.
Love
this
you.
has been
Thank you.
Human
It
Colony,
was wonderful.
and it was wonderful. Thank you, Robert,
Yeah.
Rob. This was wonderful. I'm sure
And
many of
please
us
do
will.
go to his website,
Exactly. I sure will. I heard there's a lot of waiting line, but I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, yeah, I would like to do one too.
Yeah, maybe we can do a group one. So, anyway, this has been humancolony.org. Check out our site, check out Rob's site, and again, if you're new, come here. We really want to interact with you. You have a place here, always. And as as Aridif would say, you are loved.
And his website is trebchanneling.com and etwhisperer.com.
Oh yeah.
So please do go visit them. Even though I don't think there's a soul here that doesn't know about you. But for those that haven't found you yet.
I am very, very grateful, and thank you guys again. Anytime you want me back, just let me know. Give me a little bit heads up. I tend to be about 3 or 4 weeks out right now, but if you give me a heads up, I'd love to join you guys again.
Great. Sounds good. Sounds like a plan.
All right. I love you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Amazing.
Bye-bye.
Rob.
Thank
Much
you.
love.
Bye.
See you.